Hi everyone, Amanda here. So, as you can tell by the title, this video is about 9/11, remembering 9/11. Now, I know that there are a lot of people who were not born when 9/11 happened, and that there are a lot of people who were very, very young babies, young children, when it happened, who probably don't remember or were just, on the very cusp of, remembering that. So for a lot of people, 9/11 might not be as significant as it is to someone like me and a lot of people in this country and around the world. And even though it's been 20 years to the day, that doesn't make it any less impactful to me. Now, I may tear up, I may cry during what I'm saying here, and if I do, then I do. So I'm just letting you know that now. So I remember. It's like when you ask somebody, where were you when Kennedy was shot? The people that were alive, they remember where they were, what they were doing, who they were with. They remember that because they were alive. It was a significant thing that happened that impacted them so deeply that they remember in great detail. And for that generation, for those people, that was something that they remembered. And for me and my generation, and even the people who are older than me, because, obviously we saw what happened, and also the people who were physically there saw what happened, this is something that we will never forget and should never be forgotten. I remember waking up that day, and it was a day just like this. I don't know what part of the country you're in, but where I am, today has been a beautiful sunny day. Most of the day had been cloudless. There are some clouds now, but this happened in the AM, and in the AM of this day, it was mostly cloudless. I think there was like one little tiny cloud in the sky, but it was the same type of weather. It was sunny, it was beautiful, it was a calm day. Not a day that you would expect something like that to happen. And I remember going to school, and I remember, because, I got to school early, and I was in a program for kids who were like, they were trying to keep us from like skipping school and stuff like that, because there was just a lot of stuff going on for kids like me, and they were trying to keep us in school. So in this room that we were in, I don't know if you remember, I think a lot of people will remember, I don't know if they still have these in schools now because technology has changed so much, but those big, I don't know what they call them, but they had like the TVs on them, but they were those things you had to push, and they had the VCRs, and it was this big thing that you had to wheel around to the classroom so you could watch videos and things like that. And we had one of those in our classroom, and one of the students was just flipping through the channels, just killing time until school started, which was we had like 15 minutes before the bell was going to ring. And we're just sitting there, and I'm watching him flip through the channels. A couple of others were too. And he's going through. And that was back when you just like hit the button and it just went from channel to channel to channel, you know. And all of a sudden he went to the news channel. It went on to the news channel. And you see the footage of the Twin Towers. And he stopped on that. And just as he did, we all saw the first plane hit the first tower. I don't remember if it was the north or the south. I just remember it hit the first tower. And it was just, it was so surreal. It was like, are we actually seeing what we are seeing here? Is this a joke? Like, we were, but it was the news, you know? And our eyes were just glued to that TV. That was a terrifying thing to see. I can't imagine what it was like for the people who were actually there, or the people who were in the planes. And you have to remember, this happened in 2001. So technology was not like it is today. So you didn't have, you know, all these smartphones and everything. And I think that that was a blessing that we didn't have that. Because I think if we were to have seen all the stuff, all that, whatever was going on inside of those buildings and inside of those planes, if we were to see that, I think it would have been so traumatizing that it would have been too much. I think it would have been too much. So I am glad that we didn't have to see that. But we did hear the phone calls that people made from the planes to their loved ones, because they knew that they were going to die. So we're watching, and then boom, there comes the second plane. Oh, I'm starting to get a little bit of tunnel vision, a little bit. I think I have a little bit of PTSD surrounding this. It was traumatizing. It was very scary, very sad to watch. But again, I'm not trying to compare my pain to anyone else's pain. I'm just saying this is just how I feel. And it's been 20 years. And so we're watching it, and then there was a notice from the principal that we had to shut it off, because even though technically it was current events happening right in front of us, it was asked to be shut off because some of the kids in my school, some of their family members worked in the towers. Or they had family members, friends, whatever, but they had people that worked in the towers. I don't know if any of them had any connections to the people in the planes, but I do know that they had people in the towers, like family members or friends or whoever. So I called my mom to come pick me up. because we all got dismissed. And I got home. Well, first I had woken her up because my mother worked nights, so she always slept in the mornings until about noon, 1 o'clock. And this happened like a little before 10 o'clock, if I remember correctly. And so I called her and I asked her, I said, can you come pick me up? We're being dismissed. And she's like, what? Why? What for? And I said, turn on the news. And she said, why? I said, just turn on the news. And she turned it on and she said, okay, I will be there. I'll be there. And she hung up. And so I went out to wait where you'd get picked up. And she came and she got me. And we came home. And I remember walking back in and she had left the TV on. And I sat down and I'm looking at the TV. And I'm watching people jumping from the towers. The screaming, the crying. You know, the people on the ground. You know, just all of the pain and the sadness. You know, people, because when you're in that situation, you're in fight or flight. And there were people who chose to flee, which meant jumping out of the building. They chose to not die in the building because they knew that it was either that building was going to kill them or the only other way was to jump. Because to jump from a height like that, I don't know exactly all the physics and science behind it, but you jump from that type of a height, you're going to die before you hit the ground. So they took that option. And I can't imagine what it must feel like to have to make a choice like that. It's like damned if you do, damned if you don't. And what was really scary is that I don't know if it was both buildings or just one building, but there was a daycare center in, I think, one of the buildings. And thank God it was on the first floor. But the people who were trapped above the plane on those floors, they had nowhere to go. There was no way out for them. They knew that that was it. The people in the planes knew that that was it. And how courageous was it of them? They knew that those people were trying to hit the Pentagon or whatever, wherever they were trying to hit, and they took over that plane and they steered it away, even though they lost their lives. They are heroes. So, if any of you ever see this, I want you to know that your parents or your friends or whoever it was that were on those planes, they died heroes. At least to me. And they deserve all the honor and respect in the world. And so don't you. And I'm so sorry that you lost your friends and your families and your co-workers. That was a very hard day. And then to watch those towers fall. You knew there were so many people in those towers. You knew there were thousands of people in there. And they just came down. I think there was another building that also fell next to it. But I have never forgotten what happened that day. I have never forgotten all the pain that day brought. I have never forgotten all the men and women who fought to try to save as many lives as they could, and who also lost their lives in the process. And I will never, ever forget that there are people to this day who are alive, but because of what happened when the towers fell, now they have cancer from whatever was in that debris. And now they're dealing with the aftermath of all of that. And that's not fair. You guys served us the best that you could. You gave your lives. You gave us everything that you could. And I want to say thank you so much. Whether you're alive or dead, thank you so much. And to your families, your co-workers, your friends, everybody that helped, everybody, thank you so much. I wasn't there, but it had an impact on me, and we can never forget. We can never forget how easy it is for someone to come and destroy the lives of people we love. We can't let our guards down when it comes to countries that hate us for whatever their reasons are. And we can't give them any opportunity to get through to do that again. I don't have that power. The only power I have is prayer. And that's it. So I'm going to say the Lord's Prayer for everybody that helped out on that day, who lost their lives on that day, who survived that day, and just for everybody in general. Hold on. Henry, enough. Come here. Come here. Hey. Hey. Come here. Mind your business. Mind your business. Sit. Sit down.
Sit down. Mind your business.
Alright. Sorry, there are some kids up on the bridge area, and that's not very safe. So, alright. Sorry about that interruption. So, you don't have to do this part with me. You don't have to even listen to this. But this is just from me to you. This is the only thing that I can give you. Our Father, who art in heaven, I'm sorry. Hallowed be your name. Thy kingdom come. Your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who have trespassed against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thy is the kingdom, and the power, and your glory forever and ever. Amen. That's what I can give to you. I can't show you pictures. I can't do any of that. I think that there's a lot of that already online. And you can look at the pictures. You can look at the video footages that they have of that day. But it's been 20 years. And I will never forget. And I hope you don't either. I love you all. Peace and love.